everybody, welcome to Chicken and Battlefield podcast with myself, Victoria, and my lovely co-host, Mr. Evil the Cat. How are you, sir?
I'm really good. It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Been over a month. But we're making up for it.
We are.
With this episode, because this is like probably one of the coolest ones we've done, really, because we've got a very special guest tonight in the form of Taris 120 _ builds of the Lego map Battlefield variety. How are you, Taris?
Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me. For a second, I was thinking, like, who's that special guest that's coming? And when am I going to meet him or her? So, yeah, I wouldn't call myself a very special, but yeah, I'm very good. Thank you.
You are a special guest. Everyone's a special guest, but this is very, very interesting. There's a lot to talk about. There really is. But what we kind of do as tradition on our podcast is ask our guests where Battlefield started for you.
Okay. Well, I think I know the answer, and you're probably gonna be surprised. But my Battlefield journey actually started all the way back in Battlefield Vietnam. Not the Bad Company Vietnam, but Battlefield Vietnam, the one that came after 1942, which unfortunately I was too little to play back then. I didn't even have a computer, but I remember me and my classmates were playing the hell out of Battlefield Vietnam. Only co-op with bots, because back then it was only LAN parties, local LAN.
Oh, LAN parties.
Not multiplayer, like online multiplayer per se. But yeah, I remember that was the first one. And then, of course, Battlefield 2. And it went on from there. But I have to say, I was not multiplayer player until around Battlefield 1 or, Battlefield 5. I'm mostly single player. I only play single player mostly, so I played Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. I played Hardline, but everything single player. I haven't touched the multiplayer. It just wasn't interesting to me. And the turning point came with the Battlefield 1 trailer. The infamous one with the Seven Nation Army playing in the background.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm going to play the game, and I'm gonna play it for a long, long time. So I got it. I was disappointed with the single player, so I started playing multiplayer, and that's where the proper Battlefield journey started for me. Another disclaimer: I haven't played Battlefield 1 that much. I only have about 200 hours in the whole lifespan. But then Battlefield 5 came up, and I'm a big fan of World War II games. I just something in that settings that I really like. And when the trailer came, I was really looking forward to it. I was watching the live reveal, and then the trailer came. And I think I was at the same place as the rest of the community. I was like, "What's that?" Like, how did this happen? We just came from Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
And what's this? But I was willing to give it a chance. And then one good friend of mine somehow got his hands on closed alpha. I think so he wasn't interested, and he passed it over to me, and I started playing. And even though I was slightly disappointed with the trailer, I really enjoyed the gameplay, the gunplay, and everything. And I started playing it a lot, let's just say, and like 200 hours that I have in Battlefield 1 are nothing against the Battlefield 5. And I went on to be a proper Battlefielder from then on.
Wow.
Oh.
So how many hours in Battlefield 5, you think?
I think it's around 800 hours.
Oh, wow.
I can actually take that.
That's
now.
crazy.
Or let's not do that. When I start clicking away, then I'm gonna start focusing on that, which is not a good idea.
Oh. Right, let's get into this. What inspired you to start these Lego map builds?
So, that is a brilliant question, and maybe I want to say the full story again.
Mm.
It was a spring of 2020. You
COVID.
probably know, yeah, you probably know what happened. So, I was also a Lego fan. Like, when I was a kid, I used to play with Lego and everything, and it's just there's this nostalgic kind of thing for Lego. But in 2017, I was just in a random toy store in Dublin, in Ireland, and I was looking at a wall of Lego. It was like, let's try to get back to it once more. Let's buy something small. They had this amazing Star Wars ships, but they were too
expensive, isn't they?
expensive.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like, okay, let's just get like €20, $20. Like a tank from Clone Wars or whatever. Let's try to build it if the magic is still there. So I got it, and unfortunately, the magic was still there. And since then, I got all the ships and everything, and it's new addiction and everything, and so that was the Lego kind of part. But I never designed my own things. And fast forward to 2020 that I already mentioned, I sort of got onto prolonged vacation because of that, because I was working in hospitality and obviously everything was closed. So I could not work back then. And I decided to sort of try and design something digitally for myself. I designed like small castle, and I was like, might be good thing to put it like on Lego Ideas, which is a Lego's program where you can upvote like builds of other builders, and if they reach like 10,000 votes, they get a chance to be official Lego set. So yeah, just another disclaimer here. Unfortunately, they do not support like IPs like Battlefield or things in general. So even if I put some of my own things that I do now there, it wouldn't even pass like the primary screening before it actually reaches the platform. So let's get back to that castle. I uploaded it there, and it didn't get much traction as everything else online. You have to really put it out there. So I was like, okay, how am I going to promote it? So I started Instagram. And what do you need for Instagram? You need the content. It's like, okay, let's do some content. And the first thing that came up to my mind was try to start building like houses and things, but it wasn't my kind of thing. And then because I was big into Battlefield 5, I was like pretty much doing nothing, just playing the game or playing with Lego. It's like, okay, let's try to do Iwo Jima from Battlefield 5. Let's make it in Lego. And I did that. I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Reddit, and I posted it on Twitter. And on Reddit, Danny on PC sort of found it. He posted it on Reddit, he posted it on Twitter, where developers from DICE actually saw it and they commented and they really liked it, which motivated me to build another one. I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna build like 2 or 3 maps. So I built a big island. They really loved it again, and the rest is history. Somewhere around 14 builds now. 14 big builds.
See, that's all it takes is one little sort of retweet or something from somebody like deep in the community, like Danny on PC, and then you can just
run with it,
blow up.
Exactly. I think I have to thank him for the discovery. Maybe the developers would see it on Reddit as well. It got quite a few upvotes, but he was the one who sort of brought it on Twitter, and then I started growing mostly on Twitter. So I sort of stayed there, and that's my main platform right now.
So sorry, go on, Vic.
And I was just gonna say it's kind of cool because like developers of games and worldwide and everything, they see clips of people playing their games, they see involvement with things that can like progress the game, help the game, improve the game, what they don't like, what they do like. And then there's people like you who just do this completely like out of left field and you must think as a developer like, holy shit, this is really cool, someone's rebuilding like with like Minecraft, when like people recreate the Hogwarts and things like that on Minecraft, it's quite mind-blowing. And like this is similar in the fact that it's so unique.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I guess it is. It's the thing that you have the different parts. Like I wouldn't enjoy it in Minecraft. I think like I haven't played Minecraft as much. It's just the blocks, and you basically sculpt it out of the blocks, which is also valid, and it's a technique that I'm using as well. But just to try to build something that could be built in a real world from real bricks, and if it was, it would be super cool. That's sort of my kind of thing.
It's because it's such an original idea. What was the actual first map that you built?
So it was actually Iwo Jima. I think I've sent you.
You sent the images, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the completely first build that I ever done. Like if I was doing it now, it would look so much different because I got more experience with this, and I got my own sort of tricks now, and I know the colors and stuff and how it would all fit together. But I'm thinking one day I'm gonna get back to I'm gonna properly do a remake of the Iwo Jima that I did in the beginning.
One of my questions to you: what would you do differently from like from your first build and everything like that? Like, because everyone
I would make it huge. Like that map, when I started it was made out of roughly 1,000 Lego pieces. Now on average my builds are 10,000, so
wow,
10 times bigger.
10 times bigger.
Do you know what? It must take a hell of a lot of patience to do something like that.
Yeah, it really needs patience. And that is something that probably is why not so many folks are doing the same thing as I do. There were a few guys that were trying to do so, and I was encouraging them, like share, if you want to also build, something in a similar vein, go ahead. Here's the program that I used to build them. It's quite easy. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll be happy to give you a few tips and tricks. But that's the thing. Plopping down 10,000 bricks is just it can take a while, and that is why recently the pauses between my builds are so long. I could churn out map every other day. That was in the beginning. I was doing 2 maps a week when I started doing this, because I wanted to gain momentum, which is what I did. Then I sort of slowed down, when they started hitting those 5,000 pieces that I was doing, like one per month, 2 per month. Now I'm happy if I do 1 per month or 1 per 2 months, because just I don't want to do quantity over quality. It's just want to give it my full attention and make it proper, have a proper scale of everything.
Well, especially as games evolve, especially multiplayer games, they just get bigger and bigger, and that's what the people. I think it's backfired a little bit with 2042, hasn't it? But
it's like when I heard Dice say, "Oh, these maps are gonna be 10 times bigger than whatever we've done before," I was like,
"Was you like shit? No,
damn it! It's like, why are you doing this to me?"
Just talking to you directly. He's like, Taris, these maps are going to be 10 times bigger than anything else.
Yeah, and then you have like folks that are like, hey, so Firestorm, the map is like 20 times bigger than everything else. Can you do that? I'm like,
no. Oh my gosh. Your 2042 maps, though, I mean, even though they've made them bigger and everything like that, they are like, I was looking at renewal and it just looks that they're all amazing. But in Renewal particularly, that contrast you've got is just like, it's just crazy. It's the attention to detail and things, and obviously you're experienced with it, but you know, when you haven't seen it and you see it for the first time, it's like, whoa, that's really cool. That is
Well,
really cool.
I mean, the contrast is there on Renewal on its own. It's just you mostly don't see it because you're down there as a player, or you have a boots on the ground and you're running around, and you just don't realize the contrast. But once you look from above, it's actually there, and it's stunning map. Does it play that great? Well, we all have our own opinion, but
yeah.
I like the orbital one. The orbital one looks really nice.
Mm.
Do you ever are they online? Like, you have them as wallpapers, or have you tried selling them as prints or things like that? Or
I don't. Like they're all available mostly on my Twitter, but also on Reddit.
yeah,
I used to upload them on Flickr as well for people to download, but not so many people have visited the page, so I think I stopped after like 30 maps. But you know, if it comes to that, I can always update it. And you know, there are folks, they're like, hey, can I see the files? You know, it's like, I'm not doing this for like, you know, money, you know, or anything.
Yeah.
Sure, you know, here are like my files. Have a look at it, have fun with it. If you want to modify it, just make sure like if you post it somewhere and that you're gonna credit me, and that's good enough for me.
So with the software that you use for it, I had a look, and it's very sort of similar to like a 3D modeling package, how it looks. Have you had any sort of like, is that any experience with 3D modeling packages or anything, or like software like Maya or anything like that? Or
actually, yeah, I do have experience with 3D modeling. I used to study graphic design, so I did some of 3ds Max when I was back in school, and then like when Corona hit as well, I started learning 3D modeling, Maya and Blender as well. But you know, I did not get the job as a graphic designer that I was envisioning I'm going to get. Instead, I went to other direction in IT. So I sort of abandoned the idea for now, because now all my time is precious. Being so busy, and if I'm not somewhere else, like you know, hiking or just walking around, it's just spending time with my family, and then you know, I'm building Battlefield maps.
So if you didn't have that sort of background in like 3D modeling and stuff, do you think it would have taken you a lot longer to get to where you're at now with how awesome they look and everything? Or think it's was it like a head start for you because you did it before, or not? Do you think?
No, I don't think so.
No,
because there was way back, and it's like 15 years ago.
Okay.
More than that, and obviously the software, it's like improved so much.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, if I'd opened the 3ds Max, I'd be like, you know, I wouldn't know what to do. I have some basics thanks to Blender and Maya now, but again, it's you know, I could maybe prepare my own part, but the studio is actually you just putting bricks on top of bricks and everything clicks together. And I would love if there were a little bit better controls and more advanced controls that you can find also in some other 3D modeling programs. But this is so basic that I don't think that my background gave me an edge here.
Okay. Cool.
So maps specifically, I've got just a few quick fire things, basically. Like, what was your most fun build? Which one did you enjoy doing the most? Have you got a specific map? I mean, what is your favorite Battlefield map? I mean, I know you say you've not done much multiplayer, but do you have like a favorite map or anything?
That's a great question, and I think that, like, I'm gonna answer both, like where I had the most fun and which is my favorite map. So where I had the most map, I hate every single one when I'm starting, because I had to get myself to start, and it's just, sometimes
I feel you.
it's like that creative kind of block. It's writers have it. When they stare at a blank page for ages before they put down the first word, and it's exactly the same for me. So
Block.
I have fun every time I already have the base of the map done, and I'm just populating it with stuff, with the details, and when I'm putting a little Easter eggs in there as well,
Yeah.
because I do
Nice.
that, by the way. so
Attention to detail, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, especially the late maps, so loads of little hidden details. But yeah, that's what I like. And then just rendering and trying to look good, and then a final render, and you look at it, and sometimes I'm like, how did I manage to do that? And that's the most fun part. And then when the community sees it, of course,
yeah,
it's just reactions are always so good. Except that one time when Battlefield 2042 released, and everyone went into the comments because Battlefield, and I thank them for that, because that's always great when a Battlefield retweets you. But at the time, I got loads of messages, even like DMs, like, "Hey, instead of playing Lego, fix the game."
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sure, no worries. Yeah, so what needs fixing? Okay, just tell me specifically, and I'll go and fix it tomorrow. It's like-
Yeah. Did you forward to Battlefield Direct Communication?
No, I did not. I don't think that channel was even that active back then. But yeah, so that's the most fun. And now the second question: what is my favorite map? And I have to say, I don't really know. There are quite a few contenders. Devastation, that is behind me. That's the cathedral that I have built. It's just the cathedral that's in the center of the map. And I think Saber76 was here last time, and he was also saying that was his favorite map. I love that one. Also Rotterdam as well, from Battlefield 5. Then that's why I decided to do it as my first build. And then if we're talking 2042, I mean, exposure, it's like miles miles and miles ahead of any other map in there. So
have you finished the build of that yet?
And not yet. I was a little bit lazy, to be honest. And I was away on sort of holidays / work trip for almost 2 weeks now. That's why I also couldn't come on the podcast a little bit earlier. So I was away. I didn't have access to my computer, and I need my peace and quiet. And another thing is, when you're spending 8 hours a day in front of computer for work, and then you still want to play, that's half time. Like, you just want to get out and go for a walk instead of running it more.
Sometimes there's too much screen action going on all day. It's just...
Exactly. So that said, I plan to sit down and make some progress tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and hopefully by next week. It's just
that's going to be exciting to see.
So
that will be really exciting.
So unlike everybody else who wants more maps in Battlefield 2040, are you like the opposite? You think, oh, if they release more now, I got to do more builds?
No. I just don't want them bigger. I want more maps. Just give me. Another reason why I'm not rushing is that like I'm gonna do exposure, then I'm gonna do hourglass, and I have no more maps to do.
Oh yeah.
Than the 42.
Especially if they keep delaying these seasons.
Exactly. So if another delay happens, or they come like, hey, season 2, we weren't actually planning any maps, which I don't think they'll do, otherwise everyone's gonna eat them alive. But yeah, it's just I need more maps, I need more content. Like
So when you think about starting Hourglass now, because it is quite a large map, is there like what sort of makes you decide on what point of the map you want to build?
So it's also a great question. I tend to start like on a sort of like instinct, like depends per map. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I feel like the best way to start is to make the base and the landscape first. Just get it already. That's actually how I started exposure now. Because the layout is so vertical. I was like, okay, let's do the top first, and let's go top down and make that cliff face, and then like the base, and then I only start working on details once I have the landscape. Sometimes I go by landmark. Let's say in Breakaway, I actually did oil rig as a first thing.
Yeah.
And only once I had the oil rig and I sort of saw the scale in which I am able to build it, because I mostly build in a micro scale. That's one important thing to say. Micro scale is basically when you're trying to attempt to build something with the smallest and least parts as possible. Because obviously, like anyone can try to build a huge oil rig, but make it from 5 pieces, so it looks like oil rig. That's a completely different game. So sometimes I started like that. I started Breakaway like that. I started Discarded, which is my latest build. I started like that. I basically built the Colossus ship and only built the map around it.
That's good.
Okay.
And sometimes, again, like the Devastation Cathedral behind me, I only do the landmark and I don't care about it.
I was going to ask, right? Because when I was a kid, I used to play a lot with Lego, and I found because I don't know whether this is going to kind of relate in any way to what you do, but did you ever call them like tours, like the little bit of the 2-piece, and then you got like the fours, which was like the 4 studded bricks. Like, how many tours would you use in one build? Because when I built stuff, I always ran out of the tours.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about building digitally. You run out of bricks and pieces. Yeah, you don't run out of tours.
That was available back then. It was the 1ers and the 2ers.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like, we call them the same now. I tend to call them like by their sort of proper name, like 1 by 1 brick or
technical
1 by 1 plate.
They've got proper names.
Yeah, 1 by 1.
Yeah, 1 by 2s and 2 by 6s and 4
what
by
were the
8s.
really long flat ones called then?
Those would be tiles. Like,
tiles.
For example,
okay.
I think 1 by 8 tile.
Yeah, 8 or 10, wasn't it? 8 tiles. 10. Yeah. All right. What about the little gear stick things? What were they called?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. but that's the thing. There's so many pieces that sometimes I even like thinking like, what is it called? Like, because when I want to put them in the build, I have to find them in a menu, and sometimes like you are not able to find them because there are thousands and thousands of different parts. You're like, how is it called? And then I'm thinking, like, okay, let's do some investigative work. So what is the last real build that I have built with this piece? And then I'm thinking, and then I go and I find the Lego manual and I open it and I'm like, is the piece there? Yeah, it is there. And I take the number and then I go to Bricklink, which is like the database of all the pieces, and I find it there and like, oh, that's the proper name. And then by the name, I find it in the studio.
So there's a lot more in depth to this, isn't there, than just
exactly. It's just, it's and the thing is, there are also pieces that are super similar. They're just tiny little details, and there are also some that are not available anymore. Like for like Lego doesn't make them for like 20, 30 years, and it's always fun to like go through the database and try to decode which piece is.
Can I just ask about when you start a map, like what you use for reference? Because on some of the older games, you could go in and spectator mode or whatever and do it that way. But how the hell do you do it on 2042 if you've got no spectator mode? Is it just a load of photos or just
tons and tons of screenshots? Mostly, what I mostly do is to go to single player. It's just that co-op single player.
Oh yeah.
You can play against the bots, because bots sometimes sometimes it's easier to take reference screenshots when you're not playing with real players. And then I just jump in a helicopter and I take like 50 screenshots.
Wow,
that is each possible angle and
discipline. There's so much
dedication as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, doing my best. Quality over quantity, as I said.
yeah. Well, it's working, isn't it? There's no doubt that's working for you. And just so, like, in case I forget to say at the end or whatever, but you have a Twitch channel as well, don't you? And do you do your build sometimes over on your Twitch channel?
Sometimes, yes. I actually started like 2 months ago. Basically, the Twitch is the same handle as I use for other social media. Taris 120 and underscore, is it called?
Build? It's twitch.tv / Taris 120 _ build. That's all lowercase.
Yeah, exactly. No, I started that, but here's the thing. First of all, now I was away for nearly 2 weeks, so I didn't have time to stream recently. And I also live in a very, very old house from like 17th century in the middle of like historic city center. It's a beautiful place. And unfortunately, we don't have fiber optics over here. So my internet is wireless and it's sort of crap and it's not that great for streaming. And I'm only starting to realize now I'm in talks with my IDP provider, and we're gonna improve the speed a little bit, hopefully. But until that happens, I think I'm sort of going to focus on building offline. So hopefully, like in a few weeks, I'll come back to that. But right now, even though I'd love to, I'll have to give it a pause, because the last thing I want is to everyone join and see me, just stuttering.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, forgive me, I haven't actually had time to check this, but do you have any VODs on there for any like your past?
I do. Yeah.
So people can go and see watch a VOD.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I do have a VOD. Like my plan, and when I get back to it, my plan was sort of, to go through my builds. Like I sort of started building an exposure on Twitch. Now I'm gonna take it offline to finish it, because now it's gonna be mostly like just putting down bricks and focusing and not chatting, because if I would chat around it would take me like 2 years.
Yeah, because we can't multitask, mate. Men can't multitask.
Exactly. And yeah, so that's what I did. Also a little bit of gameplay, and that's where I mostly suffer with the internet connection, because then I get a higher ping, and the gameplay is not as snappy as I would like. So that's the worst kind of stream that I have there, but the VOD is there. And then I also built like a huge Iron Man out of
I saw that.
Sets. So I tried 2 cameras and everything, and we'll see going forward. If people are interested, I might do a few more builds like that.
You did the specialists as well, which were really cool.
Oh yes.
Really cool.
They were cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I had fun with those, and I had probably the most fun with them, because those are builds that take me about 1 day, maximum 2 days, if I really get to it, and I can get lots of detail there, but it doesn't like take my weekends for a month. So,
Is there anybody else that does what you do?
what do you mean? Like in a Lego world or
Yeah,
Battlefield?
yeah, in the Lego sort of Battlefield.
Yeah, absolutely. There, like in the Lego, there's so many like talented builders, and it's just becoming, or it already is this huge phenomenon
Mm.
that Lego is no longer a toy for kids.
Uh,
No, it's a tool. It's a tool for creativity for both kids and adults alike. That's why you have those shows like Lego Masters, and that's why like you go to celebrities Instagrams and Twitters, and you can see like Michael Jordan with a huge Millennium Falcon out of Lego.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure if it was him, but it was people like that. You know?
But just talking about Battlefield, are you like the only Battlefield map sort of builder with Lego?
For Battlefield, yeah.
Well, that's great because, like,
Yeah.
you know, when people are talking in the community and things, and like, oh, you've seen that guy who does the top plays, and there's like so many,
Mhm.
and there's only one Lego Battlefield
Yeah.
map builder. So, like, you were going to be the reference, the go-to guy, the originator
Well-
of this, and that's so cool.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the second guy who would relieve a little bit of that pressure that I have to post it on the map. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like guys, whoever is listening, like if just please do it and be better than me, okay? Just make it happen. So I can retire at the age of 65.
Oh, I just want to talk quickly about before Vic kicks off again about something. How you finding 2042 as game?
It's a love-hate relationship.
Mm.
I am a very tolerant player. I am one of the few people that actually finished Cyberpunk like on PS4
Oh, wow. Nice,
2
yeah.
weeks after release. I'm not sure how familiar you're with the situation,
Mm.
but
Oh, yeah.
it's just wasn't that polished. And I'm sorry if you hear some background noises. I actually live next to a busy highway, so it tried my noise cancelling.
Oh, it's
That's
fine. I'm
okay.
surprised we've not heard any sirens from John's end yet, to be honest.
Yeah, I live on a
Very much
main street, and it's
stalker.
always
Yeah,
police
it's-
cars and everything.
Yeah, it's the same here, and I just heard one, so apologies for that.
It's
We had
okay.
fireworks going off when we did
Oh, yeah.
our one with Maple from Battlefield
Yeah.
Nations, because we
Yeah.
did it on bonfire night, completely forgetting. Sorry to interrupt your conversation there. And we had fireworks going off. And it was really quite immersive because it sounded like we had sound effects, which was pretty cool.
And you didn't get fireworks for me?
Oh, I'm sorry, mate.
I'm
Vic's
so
Okay,
fault.
sorry.
She got the
I've-
time wrong, and
I've
she
messed
didn't,
the
and she
time
didn't get
up.
fireworks either.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. All forgiven.
Hey,
I was
have
too excited to have you on.
you
Yeah.
seen now with the update, you can now aim down the sights while prone and move around at the same time?
Awesome.
Finally.
I actually haven't seen that. I'll have to try that.
Because when you go prone and you aim down the sights,
Yeah,
normally
yeah,
you can't move. You can in every other Battlefield game, but the update that came out 2 days ago, you can actually do that now. So it's like,
Right.
thank you.
Well, I usually don't go prone. I'm like one of those people who run into the room full of enemies like 5
Head
times
first.
in a row and never learn. So exactly.
Who's your
But-
sorry, go on.
No. You go ahead and ask.
I was just gonna say, who was your go-to specialist?
Specialist. I like playing all, and I like the variety, to be honest. And that's one thing that I actually don't mind about Battlefield 2042. The specialists, I think, like it is an evolution that had to come. I know people are very very fond of the classes, and I completely get it. But how are you going to improve this? How are you going to take that further? Are you going to give them some traits? And that's what they actually were trying in a Battlefield 5, but never sort of elaborated on it. But I remember that there were some leagues that like you could equip a trait that you would have a garrote and you could like strangle enemies and stuff, and but the thing is, people don't realize, even if you keep the classes, you have only 4 classes. Then if you have different traits for those classes, then you still don't know, like when you get to the enemy, it's not rock paper scissors. It's still, you don't know what that enemy is going to do to you, because you don't know what the trait they have equipped. But with the specialists, actually, you know what they can do, because you can see, oh, here's Angela running around, not being sad. That's how it sometimes works out. There is a Boris running around, and we know that he can plop down turrets. So I think it really makes sense. And obviously, DICE is not gonna go away from the trend of cosmetics, because that's what every other game has, and you can blame Battlefield for having cosmetics. It's just how they basically built the whole live service on top. So I actually don't mind specialists. I like all of them. I like to switch play styles as I feel. Like one day I feel defensive. I take Boris. I put down the turret. One day I go mecha. So I wouldn't say any of them is my favorite.
See, I'm getting used to the specialists. I was a bit kind of, what's going on to start with, because I was a bit of a class system person. And I think that there was 2 points here for me. It was, as you get older, I think you just don't like change more. I think that's a big point. And also, it was those annoying voice lines.
Oh yeah. Those voice lines were terrible.
It was too gimmicky. It was just too gimmicky. But I think I am kind of enjoying, because I play McKay a lot, but I am enjoying like seeing what maps loading up and thinking of different ways to get, like you say, what people are going to be bringing to the round, and you can counter it a lot better if you know what I mean. So I am getting used to it, and yeah, they're not as bad as I thought. It's just took some time. That's all for me. Yeah, I
completely agree with that. It's like I did not mind, because like I said, I'm a very tolerant player, but I actually like them now. I think it's just the most sensible evolution for the classes. And just, if you don't disagree with me, just tell me. That's completely fine.
Well, we get.
I'm sure if this discussion was on Twitter or on Reddit,
Oh yeah, it's not the first time it's been brought up.
Right. I've kind of done a little quiz for you, Taris, if I may.
Of course you may.
There's only a few questions, and John, you can jump in.
Okay.
With this as well, and this is all based on Lego, not Battlefield Lego, but just Lego in general. Okay.
I think I'm at a bit of a disadvantage going forward in this quiz, but
you are at a disadvantage.
Well, there's so much Lego that I feel like I'm at disadvantage as well.
Well, just see how you get on. They're not crazy. For example,
how many Lego pieces are there in the entire world? That's the first question.
Wow, no.
Including on the software. Oh my God, here we go. Okay. Sorry, Vic, go on, go. Question 1.
What is the most owned Lego set?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good question, isn't it?
And I can give clues.
What's it?
All right.
I'm going to say something like the X-Wing or something like that.
No, it's not Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. Because the X-Wings tend to be sort of a bigger set. I would say it's going to be something super small. But
kind of. It's an iconic scene from a TV show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, is that the Friends set?
It is. It's Central
Park.
Yeah, the cafe.
Yeah, I have that one too. Really? Is it?
It's the most owned Lego set, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Okay, it's nice to know.
And then
but, yeah, that was a popular one.
Yeah, it was big. But Friends was massive, wasn't it? And people would have them just on display, wouldn't they? Well, obviously you wouldn't be playing with it, would you? Because that's just daft. Or would you? I don't know. I don't know. Right. What's Lego's best-selling theme? No, this is an obvious one.
Star
Oh,
Wars.
that's yeah. Star Wars.
Okay. Which are the Lego sets with the most of them really freaking annoying stickers?
Oh,
You'll like this one, John.
Oh, you
So
mean
which
like
set has the most stickers? Yeah, which sets collectively have the most stickers?
wow, that's a hard one.
oh,
And
is it
I'm
like
thinking.
the Technic stuff, is it?
No. It's to do with sport,
Oh,
an American sport.
Or basketball, is it?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
It's the NBA
The
basketball.
NBA.
Yep. Okay.
Never heard of that one.
Which which set has the most pieces? The
Ooh.
Lego
Oh.
Art World Map or
Yes.
the latest release Titanic?
World map.
Titanic.
No, Taris is right. World Map.
Yeah, it had like 12,000
11,000,
pieces, while Titanic
11,000.
has around 9,000.
Oh, he
Yes,
knows. He
9,090.
knows.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it. Yeah.
I know my recent releases, okay?
Yeah, there you go. So Taris, I heard your builds were in Battlefield 5. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, of course I can. So it actually started with Niklas Astrand, who's a developer, gameplay designer for Battlefield franchise. I think he's a gameplay designer. He really liked my builds from the beginning, and he was super supportive of me. And one day he was like, we'd like to get your builds like in a game.
Oh,
And then
that's
I
so
got
cool.
like contacted by DICE lawyers and everything. It's like, hey, can you sign this? And then
NDAs.
Art. Yeah. Well, not NDAs, but just to give them rights to use the art, because like
Ah,
they wanted to be decent. They wouldn't just take your things that you created and just put it in the game. And in a one November Thursday, when there was a new update, it just came out, and suddenly everyone who logged into Battlefield 5 was greeted with my builds. You could actually, I think, scroll through a few of the best ones directly in the game.
Battlefield 5 or 2042?
5.
Five.
That was in Battlefield 5. And on the same week, there was also if I'm not sure how much you played Battlefield 5, if you remember, there was the stairs Easter egg.
When, no, I didn't see it. No.
Okay.
no.
There was a sort of a big thing that Niklas Hastrand with Androya on Twitter, that's his name, they did together as a big Easter egg that they were working on for quite some time. It somehow got into the game like in the beginning of its life cycle, but it wasn't finished. And in the end, they decided they're gonna really make it much better. And basically what you had to do with that building mechanism, you had to build the stairs, and there were like different routes, and then there were like a V1 rockets flying at you, and your team had to shoot them down. Basically, like, try to get to the top, which was like so high, and there were like flying sharks and traps and stuff, and it was so cool and so challenging as well. It's like, I think it took like the best team, first team, I think French guys, Legumen and stuff. It took them like 1 week to get to the top.
Wow.
Oh.
But Niklas Anstrand asked me when I was building the Hamada build. It's like, hey, wait with that. We are going to do that Easter egg probably. So just wait until you build it, and I'll let you know. And then you can sort of make a hint, and that's how we're going to announce it. So that's what we did. He told me like, hey, can you put this little Morse code like somehow in bricks into the build? And that's what I did. And it's like, make sure there are stairs, and there should be one guy over here and one guy over there. And when the update was released, basically I was the one who uploaded the the picture, and then the guys were guessing like, what can it mean, and
That's so cool.
Wow,
how
that's
to activate an
amazing.
Easter egg. The only thing is, I was working at the time, and I was only like 1 hour late or something. And in that 1 hour, I think one of the players, or even two players, managed to find the Easter egg, even without that hint, the form of Lego map. But they were so nice that didn't tell the rest of the community. But it was super cool, because then you saw like the big streamers, looking and like really, really looking into the builds, like, what can this mean? And is this another Easter egg? It's like shouting from behind the screen. It's like, no, it's just random brick. That's nothing. Just look over there. That's the thing.
Sometimes you go
yeah.
too deep in, can't you? You can just like overthink stuff as well with things like that.
and those are actually like another two sort of things that I'm super proud of, like that I had the most fun with.
No, you should. That's really cool.
That is cool.
Really proud moments. Yeah. Now also let's discuss what we sometimes miss off on this podcast. Chicken. We have to mention chicken.
Well, we kind of have to, because it's in the title of our podcast. But
We do.
I think I have somewhere in a stockpile of sets that I have never built. I think I have a set. Easter chicks,
What? A Lego chicken set?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
If we ever
That'd
do
be
this
cool.
again, I need to bring it like.
You do? Yeah, you should just put on Twitter or wherever a Lego chicken. DM me the Lego chicken. I want to see that. I wonder if it's Hey. Did they ever do a Moana set on the Disney Lego? I wonder if
Probably.
Hey Hey's
Probably.
yeah. But anyway, do you like chicken, Taris?
Yeah.
You do. You're not a vegetarian, because we have had guests on
I
who
love
are like,
chicken. I
that's cool.
for a second I was like thinking like, are we talking about animal or chicken wings?
either or.
Well,
Either or.
there are cute animals. They're even cuter when they're on a plate.
There we go. Yeah, right. So I've got a really.
I
cool,
hope I didn't
interesting
offend
story.
anyone right now.
Nah, we don't care
The
anyway.
thing is, Taris, whatever you say is going to offend somebody, isn't it, nowadays? So it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah.
You just offended chickens.
Yeah. If chickens could be offended. Right, I've got this story here. I read this earlier and I found it really quite interesting that I have to mention it. And it's basically that there once was a cockerel called Miracle Mike who had his head chopped off, and he carried on living for another 18 months. The farmer aimed too high and left a bit of his brain still in his, like, working in the top of his neck, which allowed him to live 18 months.
That is crazy.
Imagine that. You're living 18 months with a tiny little bit of brain left in your neck.
Your head gets chopped off, and that's some zombie shit right there. Your head gets chopped off,
yeah.
and you live for 18 months. I think somebody's winding you up, Vic.
Don't you have to chop off a head of a zombie to kill it, though? Or something like that? No, you have to actually destroy the brain. So if you keep the brain, it's like, okay,
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. And also another interesting thing, chickens can swim. I did not know that. Chickens can swim, and they can run up to 9 miles per hour in short bursts.
You've been doing your chicken research.
I have, yeah.
Oh.
So if there's a headless chicken running around and the chickens get freaked out, they can outrun it by like 9 miles per hour. They ain't gonna see where it's going, is it? So they'll be able to outrun it.
Can chickens swim if it's just the head?
That's very interesting. I wonder if Miracle Mike ever swam without his head.
But like, how? Because then like they have no lungs and like.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Do you know what? It just draws attention to the fact that chickens are really quite
tasty.
Fascinating. They're very tasty, but they're fascinating as well, aren't they? Quite underestimated, I think. Yeah, very underestimated.
It's like we have
Taris,
to. Sorry, go on.
After what?
No, go ahead.
What we're mentioning?
Nothing. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Taris, when you've played online and that, we kind of have this thing where if we see quite a funny gamer tag or a PSN number or on the PC and stuff, we kind of like remember them and recall them on the podcast episode. So I'm wondering, do you have any names that stick, from enemy teams or your own team, whatever, that stick out in your mind?
Any funny names?
Any funny names? Yeah.
Actually, I don't. Because I don't like. I'm all about teamwork, but I actually don't like play. I'm a single player guy, so I don't pay attention to the team as much these days.
No, that's fair enough.
Plus,
No, that's
you know,
fair enough.
every time you play with someone else, so you tend to not even read the names. I'm sure I'd find like some cool ones.
What we
if I
got,
was
Vic?
paying attention to it.
Well, these are just a few that I've come across. Like, this is across PlayStation and Xbox. And I've got Roger me barge pole. My car's not fast. This is my favourite. Wizard Dick. Obviously, it's one. Local kebab store. Lubed and oily. Rentable cloth. And just spoons.
Well, some folks are creative, but I'll tell you actually one that I think it's quite funny name tag, and it's in Xbox. When I sort of signed up for the Xbox Live, I got automatically assigned neighbor tag dopiest trash. So like so if you ever come across dopiest trash D7 something that is going to be me.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So what would you play on Xbox now or PlayStation or?
I don't have Xbox now. I just have the Xbox Live subscribed. But to be honest, I don't play much because again, just sitting behind a computer screen after 8 hours of work, it's just not what you want to do. On PlayStation though, there is another story. I actually started playing Control today, which is so far very interesting. I never played it before, so I still don't know if it's any good or not. And I want to replay Cyberpunk as well because there's they updated. They released the PS5, the next gen version of the Cyberpunk, so now it should be prettier and smoother and everything. So I want to give it another go. But that's the thing. Like it's a what we call here a cucumber season. Nothing sort of like releasing these days.
Cucumber season.
Cucumber season.
Yeah, cucumber season. It's like nothing's happening.
Never heard that before. I like it. I like it. Cucumber season.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure where else they say it, but at least here, like sort of Eastern Europe, we tend to say this a literal translation, and nothing is happening for quite some time.
We got the episode name.
Yes, 100%. And if you don't mind, I think we should adopt that. We should definitely adopt that because that is pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what cucumber season sounds like, don't you?
I know. Well, go on. What were you thinking?
Now I'm intrigued too. I want to know.
It's like when it's time for sex. Cucumber season, baby. Let's go.
Don't ever say that to somebody. Jesus Christ.
I will never say that.
Better than aubergine, isn't it?
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, Taris, were you quite upset then that 2042 didn't have a single player?
Not really. Not really, because after I saw the single player in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, I was like, okay, yeah, this needs to be multiplayer game mostly. I was upset about, I thought that if there is no single player, then there's going to be more multiplayer content, which obviously wasn't the case. And that's what I was sort of upset about. But, let's see how DICE turn this around, because I think they're, and again, feel free to disagree. I think they're on a very good track to turn this around. And if they start putting out content now, and if they do not abandon the game like they did with Battlefield 5, unfortunately, I think Battlefield 1 has a chance still, or sorry, Battlefield 142 still has a chance.
Because I saw something online, I think it might have been Level Cap's video maybe, where they said that EA and DICE are hiring somebody for a Battlefield campaign, and he didn't specify whether it was going to be for this game or the next one. But I mean,
well, that's the Seattle studio, isn't it?
Yeah.
They actually somehow, I'm not sure if you heard, like before, I think even when the 42 released, they got this idea of making it this like, bigger universe, more games, and there's gonna be that rumored hero shooter as well and stuff like that. So we'll see, but I definitely don't think it's gonna be 2042. They're not gonna add the campaign to that. If something would happen, it would be another game.
Yeah, I think,
And the thing is, if they're just hiring people now, it's 3 years away. Which is gonna be like, another game.
I wonder what the next one could be. Ooh.
the next bloody season out of this one first.
I wonder.
Hey, Lego Battlefield? No.
Oh, hey.
Oh my god! Yes, you need to go. Is it Telltale Games? Bitch.
Yeah. Well, Telltale Games. I think they said they don't want to do Lego games anymore. But hey, DICE, if you want to ever do it, you can hire me as a consultant.
Yeah, exactly. Pitch that, but stop making the maps bloody bigger.
Yeah. Get you can get to Taris at cucumberseason.co.uk. That's the email.
And by the way, that's not a real email. For real email, go to my Twitter profile, okay? Just to be serious.
No, you can find Taris at Taris120_builds on all socials. There we go.
Exactly. At cucumberseason.com.
I want to change my gamer tag. How many characters is that?
So, anything else, Vic, you want to say before we head
on?
on?
Counting my characters for a gamer tag. Cucumber season, would that fit? I don't know.
No, probably not.
No, it wouldn't fit, would it? No, all I want to do is say thank you so much, Taris. It's been amazing. It's been very educational, very insightful. As always with our guests, really inspiring as well, because we just love chatting with people from all over who are on this crazy Battlefield journey, and it's been very, very interesting. So thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time away from your family and your day-to-day as well. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I messed the time up at the start. And yeah, that was it.
Well, I thank you for you guys having me and asking me questions, because sometimes building these maps, being behind a screen and only post once in a while, it can be a lonely job as well. So it's sort of nice to get in touch with the community. And like I said, I absolutely loved the last podcast with Saber 76 as well. It's so interesting to see people that I like seen on Twitter before, and just get to know them a little bit through your podcast. So that's why I sort of accepted that. I definitely love to come back again. If you
100%.
Oh
100%.
yeah, definitely.
And it's good because you say you see people post on Twitter, but you don't really get to see their personality and their story behind what they've gone through and stuff. And it's it's good to get to know people. So we thank you so much. And Vic's got a birthday party coming up, isn't he, Vic?
Yeah.
We've got a Zoom birthday party. If you want to join,
22nd of July.
22nd of July, we have a few drinks and
2nd of July. Oh, let me see.
Sorry, I'm building. I'm building
No
on that day.
pressure.
I can't make it.
No pressure. I'm going to put loads of cucumbers on my Zoom call.
Just send me a Zoom invite.
We will.
We'll put it on. We'll put it on
Let me
for
know.
everyone. So anyway, it'll be out there. But yeah.
So thank you so much for listening to the Chicken and Battlefield podcast. That was the awesome Taris 120_builds. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, my friend. And that was Victoria, my co-host. I am Evil the Cat. We wish you success and nothing less. Peace. Here we are. Done.